The rain hammered against the warehouse windows like accusations Marcus Cross couldn't answer. Through his scope, he watched the target, a nondescript man in a gray suit who'd been meeting with known arms dealers for 3 weeks straight. Standard surveillance, Director Mitchell had said. Routine intelligence gathering. But nothing about this felt routine. Marcus shifted his weight on the metal beam, 30 feet above the warehouse floor. His earpiece crackled to life. "Phoenix, this is Control. Status report." "Target's stationary," Marcus whispered, his British accent barely audible. "Same position for 20 minutes. He's waiting for someone." "Copy that. Maintain surveillance." Below, Gray Suit checked his watch. A nervous tick Marcus had cataloged, along with 14 other behavioral patterns. The man was scared. Amateur scared. The kind that got people killed in this business. A black sedan pulled into the loading dock, its headlights cutting through the rain-soaked darkness. Marcus adjusted his scope, finger hovering near the record button on his surveillance equipment. 3 men emerged, 2 muscle, 1 brain. The brain wore an expensive coat that screamed government salary, supplemented by something else. "Control, we have contact. 3 unknowns. Likely security detail for..." Marcus stopped mid-sentence. Through his scope, he caught a glimpse of the man's face as he turned. Deputy Director Harold Blackwood, Mitchell's direct superior. "Phoenix, complete your transmission." Marcus's mind raced. Blackwood shouldn't be here. Couldn't be here. Not meeting with suspected arms dealers in a warehouse at 2 in the morning. "Technical difficulties, Control. Stand by." He switched his earpiece to private channel and activated his personal recorder. Whatever happened next, he wanted his own copy. The conversation below was muffled, but body language spoke volumes. Gray Suit handed Blackwood a thick envelope. Blackwood examined its contents, photographs, from what Marcus could see, and nodded. Money changed hands. A lot of money. Then Blackwood did something that made Marcus's blood run cold. He pulled out his service weapon and shot Gray Suit twice in the chest. The sound echoed through the warehouse like thunder. Marcus held his breath, every muscle tensed. The 2 security men disposed of the body with practiced efficiency, wrapping it in plastic they'd brought for the purpose. "Phoenix, report. We heard something on this end." Marcus switched back to the main channel. "Pigeons, Control." Startled me. "Target's still in position." "Roger that. You're due for extraction in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Marcus watched Blackwood's team clean the scene with professional precision. They'd done this before, many times. His secure phone vibrated, a text from an unknown number. "We know you're watching. Building is surrounded. Come down quietly, or we come up shooting." Marcus's pulse quickened, but his hands remained steady. 20 years in intelligence had taught him to think, not panic. He scanned the warehouse perimeter through his scope. 6 men at strategic positions, all armed, all waiting. "Control, requesting immediate extraction. Cover potentially blown." "Negative, Phoenix." "Maintain position." That's when it clicked. Mitchell's insistence on this assignment, the convenient absence of backup, the specific warehouse she'd chosen for surveillance. He'd been set up. Marcus activated his emergency beacon, a separate system that would alert his former handler, now retired. Insurance he'd hoped never to use. Then he pocketed the surveillance drives and prepared for what came next. The warehouse door exploded inward. Smoke grenades followed, filling the space with thick, gray fog. Marcus rappelled down his pre-positioned line, landing behind a stack of crates just as automatic weapons fire erupted above him. "Phoenix, What's your status? Mitchell's voice, concerned but not surprised. You know exactly what my status is, Director. Marcus kept moving, using the smoke as cover. Question is, how long have you been planning this? A pause. Then Mitchell's voice, colder now. Longer than you know, Marcus. You always were too good at your job. Found things you weren't supposed to find. Like Deputy Director Blackwood executing civilians. Like a lot of things. Surrender now, and we can make this quick. Marcus reached the loading dock, but the sedan was gone. In its place stood Jack Turner. Ghost, they'd called him in the old days. Marcus's former partner, before that mess in Prague that ended with Turner taking a bullet meant for him. Hello, mate, Turner said, his scarred face visible in the dim light. Been a while. Jack, didn't know you'd gone private sector. Pays better. Plus, fewer rules about who you can shoot. Turner raised his weapon. Nothing personal, Marcus. Well, maybe a little personal. The shot came from behind Turner, a sniper's bullet that caught him in the shoulder, spinning him around. Elena Vasquez emerged from the shadows, holding a smoking rifle. You're late, Marcus said, already moving toward the motorcycle she'd no doubt brought. You're predictable, she countered, tossing him a helmet. That emergency beacon? I've been monitoring it for years. Figured someday you'd need a real friend. They roared out of the warehouse as more vehicles converged on their position. Marcus glanced back to see Turner struggling to his feet, shouting orders into his radio. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. Where to? Elena shouted over the engine noise. Somewhere they won't think to look, Marcus replied. I need to figure out how deep this goes. I know a place, but Marcus, she glanced at him through her mirror. Once we go dark, there's no going back. They'll burn your entire life to find you. Marcus thought about the recording in his pocket. Blackwood's cold execution, Mitchell's betrayal. His old life was already ashes. Then let's give them something to really worry about. The motorcycle disappeared into the London night, leaving only the sound of sirens and rain in its wake. The safe house was a converted shipping container buried beneath a scrapyard in East London, the kind of place that didn't exist on any government database. Elena killed the motorcycle engine, and they descended through a hidden hatch into a world of monitors, servers, and the hum of electronics. Not what you expected? Elena asked, noting Marcus's raised eyebrow. Expected something more. Conventional. Conventional gets you killed. She powered up the surveillance system, 12 screens flickering to life. We've got about 6 hours before they trace the bike. After that, this place burns. Marcus pulled out the surveillance drives, his hands steady despite the adrenaline crash threatening to overwhelm him. I need to see what else is on here. Blackwood meeting with arms dealers is just the surface. While Elena worked her network of contacts, Marcus dove into the footage. Hours of surveillance he'd conducted over the past 3 months, seemingly unconnected operations that Mitchell had assigned him. But now, with the knowledge of her betrayal, patterns emerged. Jesus, he muttered, connecting the dots. Every target I've surveilled in the past year, they're all dead. Elena looked over his shoulder. Executed? Made to look like accidents, suicides, random violence. But the timing? Marcus pulled up news articles, cross-referencing dates. Always within 72 hours of my reports. Mitchell wasn't using me to gather intelligence. She was using me to mark targets. The weight of it crashed down on him. How many people had died because of his work? How many innocent lives had he unknowingly ended? You couldn't have known, Elena said, reading his expression. Couldn't I? 20 years in this business, and I never questioned why Mitchell always insisted on solo operations, why backup was always conveniently unavailable. His phone buzzed, the burner he'd activated after going dark. One message: "You have something we want. We have something you want." VR. Attached was a photo that made Marcus's blood freeze. His sister Emma, walking out of her flat in Manchester, unaware of the sniper scope centered on her head. "Victor Reeves," Elena said, recognizing the initials. "Assistant Director of Operations, Mitchell's mentor. And apparently the real puppet master." Marcus's jaw clenched. "How long have you been tracking this?" Elena hesitated, then pulled up her own files. 3 years, ever since my brother died in a terrorist attack that conveniently eliminated a parliamentary committee investigating intelligence budget irregularities. You've been using me. We've been using each other. The difference is, I was honest about it. She met his gaze directly. I needed someone on the inside. You needed someone who could disappear you when things went sideways. Symbiosis. Marcus wanted to be angry, but exhaustion and pragmatism won out. What else do you know about Reeves? He's been building a shadow network for over a decade. Officially, he's clean. Spotless record, decorated service. Unofficially, he's selling intelligence to the highest bidder and eliminating anyone who gets close to the truth. The gray suit. He must have had evidence. Elena pulled up facial recognition on the victim. Thomas Hartley. Former MI6 analyst. Went dark 6 months ago after flagging suspicious financial transfers. He was trying to sell the evidence to Blackwood, not realizing Blackwood was part of it. Marcus studied the footage again. Wait! The envelope. Blackwood examined photos. Can you enhance? Elena's fingers flew across the keyboard. The image sharpened, revealing glimpses of the photographs Hartley had brought. Surveillance shots of meetings, financial documents, and... That's the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff. Elena breathed. This goes all the way to Downing Street. Marcus stood, pacing the small space. We can't trust anyone in the system. So we burn it down from the outside. Elena pulled up a secure communication channel. I know a journalist, independent, untouchable, owes me a favor. No. Marcus's phone buzzed again. Another photo of Emma, this time entering her school where she taught. They'll kill her the moment we go public. Then what do you suggest? Marcus studied the screens, his mind shifting into tactical mode. We play their game. They want the evidence I have, but they don't know I've already copied it. We arrange an exchange, the drives for Emma's safety. That's suicide. The moment you show up. Not if we're smart about it. Marcus pulled up a map of London. Turner's wounded, probably at a private medical facility. Mitchell will be coordinating the manhunt from headquarters. That leaves Reeves and Blackwood exposed. You want to go after them directly? I want them to think I'm coming for the exchange, while we actually grab evidence from their offices. Real evidence, not just what they wanted me to see. Elena studied him carefully. That's a terrible plan, with about a dozen points of failure. You have a better one? She smiled. A predator recognizing another predator. Actually, yes, but you're not going to like it. Before she could elaborate, the proximity alarms screamed. On the monitors, 3 black vans converged on the scrapyard above. 6 hours, Elena said dryly. I overestimated. Marcus grabbed the drives, while Elena initiated the burn protocol. Thermite charges would reduce everything to slag in minutes. "Service tunnel," she said, pulling open a hidden panel. "Leads to the Thames. Hope you can swim." They crawled through darkness as explosions rocked the ground above. Behind them, Marcus could hear boots hitting concrete, shouted orders, Turner's distinctive voice despite his injury. The tunnel ended at a rusted grate. Below, the Thames churned, black and unforgiving. "On 3, Elena said. They never made it to 2. The grate exploded inward, blown by shaped charges. Marcus shielded Elena with his body as they fell into the freezing water, bullets cutting through the air where they'd been standing. The current took them, London's lights blurring past as they fought to stay afloat. In the distance, sirens wailed, the city turning against them. Every camera an eye, every citizen a potential threat. Marcus had been burned before, but never like this. Never with so much at stake. The abandoned church in Rotherhithe had been deconsecrated years ago, its stained glass windows now boarding, its pews torn out and sold. But the crypt remained intact, and more importantly, off the grid. Marcus wrung Thames water from his jacket while Elena set up her mobile equipment, a military-grade laptop and satellite phone she'd stashed there months earlier. "Your contingency plans have contingency plans," Marcus observed, teeth chattering. "Paranoia keeps you breathing." She tossed him a dry shirt from a sealed bag. "Old friend of yours wants to talk." On the laptop screen, a familiar face appeared. David Chen, former SAS, now running private security for diplomats. Marcus had saved his life in Kabul 8 years ago. "Marcus, heard you've gone rogue," Chen said without preamble. "News travels fast. Faster when there's a £1 million bounty on your head. Dead or alive, preference for dead." Chen's expression was grim. "What the hell did you stumble into?" "The kind of conspiracy that sounds insane until you see the evidence." Marcus moved closer to the screen. "David, I know what you need. Your sister's being held at a black site in Croydon. Industrial complex, officially abandoned, heavily guarded. Turner's running the operation personally." Elena's fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up satellite imagery. 12 guards, minimum. Motion sensors, infrared cameras. It's a kill box. "Which is why you're not going there," Chen continued. "It's bait, Marcus. They want you to make an emotional play. They have Emma, and they'll kill her the moment they have what they want." Chen leaned forward. "But I have something interesting. One of my clients, a Saudi prince, just canceled his security detail. Guess who requested the reassignment? Victor Reeves. Marcus processed this. Reeves is making a deal. Tomorrow night, private yacht, Westminster Pier. The prince is buying something big. My sources say intelligence packages worth millions." "The evidence," Elena breathed. "Reeves is selling the conspiracy's intelligence cache before burning everything down. Including witnesses," Marcus added. "He's cleaning house." Chen's image flickered. Bad connection or interference? "I can get you close, but Marcus, this is bigger than just Reeves. I've been tracking unusual financial movements, diplomatic immunity requests, military assets being repositioned. Someone's preparing for something massive. A coup, or worse. A complete restructuring of Western intelligence networks. New players, new rules, old guard eliminated." The satellite phone buzzed. Elena checked it, her face paling. "Turner's moving Emma. Convoy just left the black site." "Where?" "Westminster. They're bringing her to the yacht." Marcus stood, his mind racing. They're consolidating. The deal, the evidence, Emma, everything in one place. It's still a trap, Chen warned. But now it's a trap we can use. Marcus turned to Elena. You said you had a better plan. Let's hear it. Elena pulled up building schematics on her screen. Reeves keeps physical copies of everything. Old school paranoia. His personal safe is in his Whitehall office. While everyone's focused on the yacht tomorrow night, we hit the office. That's in the heart of government. Security will be minimal, actually. There's a state dinner tomorrow. Most security will be redirected. And I have this. She produced an access card. Lifted it from a certain deputy director 3 weeks ago. Blackwood's card. He never reported it missing. Didn't want to explain why he was unconscious in a hotel room with someone who wasn't his wife. Marcus almost smiled. You've been planning this. I've been planning something. Your situation just accelerated the timeline. She pulled up more files. But we still need a way onto that yacht. If Emma's there, I know someone, Marcus interrupted, remembering an old debt. Someone who owes me enough to risk their career. He dialed a number from memory. 3 rings, then a crisp voice. Inspector Catherine Morse, Metropolitan Police. Kate, it's Marcus. Silence. Then, you've got balls calling me on an official line. I need help. You need a miracle. Every agency in Europe is hunting you because I found evidence of corruption that goes to the top. Kate, you know me. Would I burn my entire life for nothing? Another pause. Marcus could hear her walking, probably finding somewhere private. Thames house, Prague. Now this, she said finally. You have a pattern of being where things explode. Prague was Turner's fault, and you know it. He sold out the entire operation. I just survived it. And now Turner works for the people hunting you. Interesting coincidence. There are no coincidences in our world, Kate. Just patterns we haven't recognized yet. She sighed. What do you need? River police patrol routes for tomorrow night, and maybe a blind spot near Westminster Pier. That's impossible. She stopped. The Saudi prince's yacht. You're going after Reeves. I'm going after my sister. Reeves is just in the way. Marcus, if you're wrong about this, then I'm dead anyway. But if I'm right, we're talking about treason at the highest levels. Marcus heard computer keys clicking. Patrol boat Charlie 7 has engine trouble. Will be docked for maintenance from 8 to midnight tomorrow. That's your window. Kate, don't thank me. And Marcus, after this, we're even. Prague, Thames house, all of it, clean slate or burnt bridges. Your choice how this ends. The line went dead. Marcus turned to find Elena watching him with an unreadable expression. Inspector Morse, the one who pulled you out of the Thames after Prague? Ancient history. Everything's history until it isn't. She closed the laptop. We have 18 hours. Better get some rest. But rest wouldn't come. Tomorrow, they'd either expose the conspiracy or die trying. Westminster glowed beneath a crescent moon as Marcus watched the yacht through binoculars. The Serpentine Dream sat moored at the private dock, its deck crawling with guards. Elena's voice crackled through his earpiece. In position at Whitehall. Security's minimal, just as predicted. Copy that. I count 8 guards topside, probably more below. Marcus adjusted his position on the adjacent building's roof. Chen, status, approaching from the river. 2 minutes out. The plan was surgical. Elena would penetrate Reeves's office while Marcus and Chen extracted Emma from the yacht. Simple in concept, nightmarish in execution. Marcus, Elena's voice carried an edge. Promise me something. If this goes sideways, you take the evidence and run. Don't try to be a hero. Same goes for you. I'm serious. The world needs to know the truth more than it needs either of us alive. Before Marcus could respond, movement on the yacht caught his attention. Turner emerged from below deck, pushing someone ahead of him. Emma, hands bound, stumbling slightly. Marcus's jaw clenched. Target confirmed. Emma's on deck. Wait for my signal, Chen warned. Patience saves lives, remember? Marcus remembered. Prague had taught him that lesson in blood. Through his earpiece, he heard Elena's breathing quicken. I'm in. Reeves's office is... Marcus, you need to hear this. The safe's already open. What? It's a trap. Files are here, but they're too convenient. Too neat. These are the documents they want found. Paper rustled. Wait. There's a hidden compartment behind... A sharp intake of breath. Jesus Christ. Elena, report. Operation Prometheus. They're not selling intelligence. They're orchestrating terrorist attacks. 17 cities, coordinated strikes, all blamed on foreign actors. It's designed to justify a complete restructuring of Western intelligence under emergency powers. Marcus's blood ran cold. When? 48 hours. The yacht meeting isn't a sale. It's final coordination. On the yacht, Reeves appeared, greeting a man in traditional Saudi dress. But something was off about the prince's bearing, his movement patterns. That's not a Saudi prince, Marcus breathed. That's Dmitry Volkov, Russian SVR. The intelligence failures in Berlin last year, Chen said, understanding immediately. Volkov was behind them, and Reeves was his inside man. Marcus watched as Mitchell joined the group on deck. The full picture crystallized. They're not betraying the West to random buyers. They're orchestrating its collapse from within. Elena's voice turned urgent. Marcus, I found something else. A kill list. Everyone who knows about Prometheus dies tonight, including Turner. As if on cue, Marcus saw Reeves nod to one of his men, who moved behind Turner. The ghost, for all his skills, didn't see it coming. The wire went around his throat fast, professional. Turner fought, but surprise and positioning were against him. No! Emma's scream carried across the water. Turner's body hit the deck. Reeves stepped over it without a glance, addressing his remaining men. Clean this up. The cross girl goes over the side once her brother shows, which should be any moment. Elena, get out. Now. 30 seconds. I'm photographing everything. Chen's boat emerged from beneath Westminster Bridge, running dark. Marcus rappelled down the building's face, timing his descent with Chen's approach. They had one shot at this. Elena, we need a distraction. Give me 10 seconds. Keyboard clicks, then hacking the yacht's system. Now. The serpentine dream erupted in light and sound. Alarms blaring, deck lights strobing. Guards scrambled, confused. In the chaos, Marcus and Chen boarded from opposite sides. Marcus moved through the confusion like a ghost himself, muscle memory taking over. First guard never saw him coming, a chokehold, unconscious in seconds. The second turned too late, catching Marcus's elbow to his temple. Chen worked the other side, his approach more direct but equally effective. They converged on Emma's position as Reeves shouted orders, trying to restore control. Brother! Emma's relief died as she saw Marcus's expression. No time! Move! He cut her bonds, pulling her toward Chen's boat. Volkov drew a weapon, but Mitchell was faster, shooting him twice. Loose ends, she said coldly, then turned the gun on Reeves. Sorry, Victor. New management. Reeves's face showed surprise for the first time. Sarah, we had an agreement. Had being the operative word. She pulled the trigger. Marcus pushed Emma toward Chen. Get her out. Not without you. I'll be right behind you. Go. Chen dragged Emma to the boat as Marcus faced Mitchell. She smiled, the gun steady. I knew you'd come. Predictable to the end. Turner's dead. Reeves is dead. What's left, Sarah? The new world order, one that works, Marcus. No more bureaucracy, no more oversight, just efficiency. You mean dictatorship. I mean survival. Prometheus launches in 48 hours. Nothing can stop it now. Behind her, Elena appeared at the yacht's stern, holding a flare gun. Wanna bet? Mitchell spun, but Elena fired first. The flare caught Mitchell in the shoulder, sending her stumbling. Her return fire went wide as Elena dove into the Thames. Marcus didn't hesitate, following Elena over the side as more guards converged. The cold water shocked his system, but he swam hard, finding Elena struggling with her shoulder bag. The evidence! Leave it! Can't. Only copies. She was sinking, the waterlogged bag dragging her down. Marcus grabbed her, kicking hard toward Chen's boat. Bullets peppered the water around them as Emma and Chen pulled them aboard. Drive! Drive! Marcus shouted. Chen gunned the engine, racing toward the patrol gap Kate had arranged. Behind them, the yacht erupted in chaos, Mitchell's voice carrying across the water, promising vengeance. Elena coughed up water, clutching her bag. We have it all! Prometheus, the targets, the players. 48 hours to stop 17 attacks, Marcus said grimly. 47, Emma corrected, checking her watch. So what's the plan? Marcus looked at his sister, brave despite everything. At Elena, brilliant and deadly. At Chen, loyal beyond reason. His conspiracy had become their war. We go public. Every news outlet, every intelligence agency that isn't compromised. We burn it all down. Mitchell will come for us. Let her. We've got something she doesn't. The truth. The BBC newsroom erupted into chaos 36 hours before Prometheus was set to launch. Elena had sent the evidence to every major outlet simultaneously, a digital flood that couldn't be stopped. Marcus watched from across the street as reporters scrambled, his phone buzzing with calls from unknown numbers. They're moving, Chen reported through the earpiece. Government vehicles converging on Thames House. Mitchell won't go quietly, Marcus replied, watching the news break on screens through the window. She has contingencies. Emma stood beside him, refusing to leave despite his protests. She murdered Turner in cold blood. She won't hesitate to trigger Prometheus early. Elena's voice crackled through. I'm tracking her communications. She's gone dark, but her team's panicking. Messages about accelerating the timeline. Marcus had spent 2 decades learning Mitchell's patterns. She'd retreat to somewhere defensible, somewhere with leverage. The Rothwell Building, Emergency Command Center, 12 floors underground. She'll try to trigger Prometheus manually from there. That's suicide, Chen said. Place is a fortress. Not if you know the architect's daughter. Elena was already typing. Rebecca Rothwell owes me. Her father built a maintenance access that bypasses main security. Insurance against government overreach, he called it. Marcus made a decision that would have seemed insane 48 hours ago. He dialed Inspector Kate Morse. Marcus, half of Scotland Yard is looking for you, and the other half is watching the news. Kate, we have 36 hours to stop 17 terrorist attacks. Mitchell's at the Rothwell Building. I need backup that isn't compromised. A pause. You have proof? Check your email. Seconds passed. Then, Jesus, tactical team deploys in 20 minutes. But Marcus, this makes you a witness, not a vigilante. You come in alive. Understood? Understood. But Mitchell had one more card to play. Marcus's phone buzzed. A video message. Mitchell stood in the command center, her shoulder bandaged, holding a dead man's switch. Hello, Marcus. By now, the world knows our story, or thinks it does. She smiled coldly. Prometheus can't be stopped. The attacks are already in motion, but I can accelerate them unless you come alone. You have 1 hour. The screen showed 17 timer displays, all counting down. It's a trap, Emma said immediately. Of course it is. Marcus checked his weapon. But she's not bluffing about the attacks. Elena pulled up building schematics. The command center has only one entrance once locked down. She'll kill you the moment you're inside. Not if she needs me alive. Marcus studied the blueprint. The system requires biometric confirmation from 2 senior operatives to abort. She needs my clearance to stop what she started. Why would she want to stop it? Because exposure changes everything. Prometheus was meant to be blamed on foreign actors. Now everyone knows it's an inside job. The attacks would destroy her new world order before it begins. Chen understood first. She needs you to help her abort. Then she kills you and claims she stopped the conspiracy, becomes a hero instead of a terrorist. Exactly. Marcus stood. Which is why you're going to let me walk in there. Marcus, Elena started. And then you're going to cut the building's power 60 seconds after I enter. Emergency lighting only. Level the playing field. The backup systems will keep the computers running, but not the security locks. Doors will default to open. He looked at each of them. Trust me. 40 minutes later, Marcus entered the Rothwell building alone. The lobby was deserted, evacuated on Mitchell's orders. He descended to the command center, each floor darker than the last, until he stood before the reinforced door. Come in, Marcus. Mitchell's voice echoed through speakers. Let's end this like professionals. The command center was bathed in blue light from dozens of screens, showing targets across 17 cities. Mitchell stood at the central console, the dead man's switch steady in her hand. You always were the best I trained, she said. Too good, really. You see patterns others miss. Like Hartley's evidence? You had him killed because he discovered Prometheus. I had him killed because he was selling that discovery to Blackwood. Greed corrupts everything. She gestured to the console. Help me shut this down, Marcus. Save 17 cities. Be the hero you always wanted to be. And then we disappear. Both of us. New identities, new lives. The conspiracy dies with Reeves and Turner. Marcus moved to the console, placing his hand on the biometric scanner. You killed Turner yourself. Necessary sacrifice. Like Prague. Prague was your operation. You sold out the entire team. Mitchell's expression didn't change. They were investigating financial irregularities. My financial irregularities. Sometimes you have to choose between bad and worse. The lights cut out. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in harsh red. Mitchell's finger tightened on the switch, but Marcus was already moving. 20 years of training compressed into 3 seconds of violence. The switch flew from Mitchell's hand as Marcus struck her wrist. She rolled backward, drawing a knife from her boot, close quarters, where she'd taught him everything he knew. But Marcus had learned more since then. They fought in the red-tinged darkness, brutal and efficient. Mitchell was good, but desperation made her reckless. Marcus caught her knife hand, twisted and drove his knee into her ribs. She gasped, stumbling. "You think you've won?" She laughed, blood on her lips. "Prometheus is bigger than me. Cells in 17 cities waiting for the signal. The signal that requires both our biometrics to abort." Marcus retrieved the dead man's switch, its light still green. "Which means, without you, it can't launch either." Mitchell's eyes widened as she understood. Marcus placed his hand on the scanner, then pressed her palm against the second reader. The system acknowledged both inputs. "Operation Prometheus aborted," the computer announced. "All cells standing down." Footsteps thundered down the corridor, Kate's tactical team, Elena and Chen behind them. Mitchell looked at Marcus with something like respect. "You learned well. I had a good teacher, just not a good person." As the police took Mitchell away, Marcus felt the weight of the past week settling on his shoulders. Turner dead, Reeves dead, Mitchell arrested, and a conspiracy that reached into the highest levels of government exposed. "What now?" Emma asked, finding him on the building's roof as dawn broke over London. "Now we testify. We make sure this never happens again." Elena joined them, laptop in hand. "The media's calling you a hero." "Heroes don't get their friends killed." Marcus thought of Turner, corrupted but still human. "They just survive long enough to tell the truth." His phone rang. An unknown number. Marcus almost didn't answer, then recognized the prefix. Langley, Virginia. "Mr. Cross? This is Director Harrison, CIA. We've been following the situation. Interested in consulting work? Strictly above board, full oversight." Marcus looked at Elena and Emma, then at the city waking below. "I'll think about it." He hung up. The old world was gone. Mitchell had ensured that. But maybe something better could be built from its ashes. Something honest. "Breakfast?" Emma suggested. "I know a place that serves terrible coffee and excellent advice." Marcus smiled, the first genuine smile in years. "Lead the way." As they walked into the morning sun, Marcus felt the weight of secrets lifting. The ghost protocol was over. Time to be human again.